host, Sarah Peel, where we take the topic of entrepreneurship and turn it into bite-sized chunks for you to easily digest and understand. So this is episode number 2, and on this episode, we're going to talk about probably the number one question that I have been asked in all the years that I have worked from home and particularly online, which is the topic of, can you truly make money online? If you recall, during the episode, I kind of went over my history and about how I got started and things along those lines. It was a very brief episode, description really, to be honest. We'll go more into my history in a future episode, but I did want to touch on this topic as one of the first topics to talk about because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about making money online, as well as understanding what it really entails, what it's like, how people can do it, and the likeliness of actually getting rich off of it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I would say yes, to make money online is very possible. Thousands of people do it, probably everywhere. You probably maybe even know a couple people who have done it in the past. There's many different ways to do it. Some are actual long-lasting careers, while a lot of people just kind of dabble and find the easy way to try to do it. Which, is there really an easy way to do it? Probably not. There might be some ways that seem like, oh, this is relatively easy, I could do this. But the reality of it is it's a lot more work. It's a lot harder to be working for yourself and do it successfully versus working for somebody else, because you have to motivate yourself to do it. And that doesn't exclude working for yourself online. So let's talk about a different couple of ways that you probably have heard or seen people talking about making money online. One of them, which I think is probably one of the first original ways that you probably have seen if you dug into online, which is get paid to sites, or known as GPTs. These sites seem like an easy way. They're like, oh, all you need to do is do this and you will get paid. But if you actually look at the payout rates and the rates they give you, a lot of times it's pretty much chimp change. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody's going to actually be able to pay any bill or even a meal from the money that they get on that. Plus, it takes a lot of effort, and usually you can't do it on your own. You have to do it by sharing and getting people to sign up underneath you, which I guess in one way is part of their marketing scheme, is say, hey, people have to get referrals in order to actually make money to reach payouts. So this is a flawless way for them to do it, even though it's not really an honest way. It's certainly not an easy way or fair way, because it's not really fair work, and it's kind of a cheap way to get out of paying typical advertising rates. A couple of these sites you probably have seen are like CashCrate.com, which I have used in the past. Do I advise it? No, not really. It's a good way to make some extra money if you really want to make extra, but don't count on it as a way to actually make a living online, because really nobody's going to ever be able to do that, no matter the best intent you put into it and the best effort, because it's pretty much damn near impossible to do it with that kind of rates that they give you, and that's kind of fair. Another thing you probably heard is something like doing smaller tasks, which is like Amazon Mechanical Turk, which is, again, it sounds like a good way. I mean, you do a few tasks here and there, you can get decent, quote-unquote, decent wages. Again, it's not really true. A lot of people do use that because they know those people who are willing to work for that little money, and it's not really fair. Plus, it's actually taking away skill or jobs that could be done by somebody who is much more skilled, who actually could earn a decent living by having a normal client. So really, again, not typical way or even a practical way to make money online. Then there are things like drop shipping and selling on Amazon or eBay, which, again, people have actually had success with it. If you've done your research or look into it, there's successes. And are there many successes? Probably not. Again, it really comes down to passion and drive, and also knowing your market, knowing who you're selling to, knowing the keywords, knowing what kind of product it needs to be, and making sure your product is better than any one of your other competitors out there. And that takes a lot of time, trial, and effort, and probably not the first best way to get into the industry. I mean, if you really want to make money online, you're not going to have much success with that from the first go. There's a few people who do, but let's be honest, usually you're not. It's a lot of time, and it's also going to take investment, because you're going to have to buy the product, packaging, the advertising, and let's be honest, most people looking to work from home don't have that kind of money to get started up. And again, the point of doing this is so you don't have to go and get venture capital, because venture capital is pretty hard to get, and also it's a good way to get into debt. And most people want to work money for financial independence, not to get into debt. So something you probably should want to keep in mind and think about, because it's not going to be the best way to make money. A couple other things is going into creating a website or videos and having ad revenue. There's been some stories of success, particularly things on certain blogs or YouTubers who have had made good money off of it. But of course, then happened Adpocalypse, which I'm sure you are aware of. Things along those lines. It's not a steady way to make money. Yeah, it's a great little side hustle you can do to make extra money, but it's not some money you can be able to depend on. It's certainly not going to help you be able to go ahead and get an apartment or a loan for a house or anything along those lines, because even those people are going to say that's not a dependable source of income. So again, it's a great little side hustle you can do, but it's something you shouldn't depend on because there's no guarantee that you're going to make money all the time from there. Of course, now some of the other things is by starting your own business and selling a service or a product, which is probably the best way to go. Especially if you want to have complete control over your own revenue streams, as well as a little bit independence, and also not having to really worry about other sites shutting down or ad revenue, ads changing, things along those lines. It's probably going to be your best option. So let's go ahead and go a little bit into that. So what kind of products could possibly one sell or make? As I mentioned earlier, freelance writing, you could do ebooks, you could do create software, an app, things along those lines. You could also even get into like selling crafts and services, social media marketing, writing, editing, things along those lines. Those are real services that can be useful, and also you could set your own rates and actually make decent money. Again, starting off with it and hoping to strike it rich from the get-go, again, isn't going to work really. You're going to really have to make this more a labor of love, but it's a good idea and example of what could truly be a true way to make money online without relying on other sites. Because you may have heard there's been plenty of people who have relied on sites. Those sites go down, or they get rid of their revenue policy or ad sharing, and those people basically lose their job essentially because they laid all their eggs in one basket. And that's one piece of advice I guess we should really get to is diversify your incomes, because you can't rely on one thing alone and have all your eggs in one basket, because you are playing with fire when you do that. You need to have more than one way to kind of ensure you have a little bit of dependability, as well as a way to make sure you do have money coming if something ever does happen to a website or a service that you're using. You want to have something more dependable. Things like ad revenue isn't going to be dependable, so you really want to make sure you diversify it. Besides things such as diversifying your income and some examples of what you can do to make money, let's talk about the concept of the difference is making money online versus online businesses, because there is a difference, believe it or not. Making money online can really be done by anyone who has internet connection or computer and a little determination. Like I was mentioning earlier, just get paid to sites. Great source to make a little extra money here and there if it's a real up and up site, as well as you have the drive, you have the influence, and you can really advertise to people, and maybe they got a decent pay rate. Not very common. They used to be more existence in the day back about 10 years ago. Not so much anymore. Unfortunately, a lot of them have changed because, well, the industry has changed. Ads have changed, websites have changed. Sites like Google have cracked down on certain services and certain concepts that people who used to do to climb the rank and make a lot of money, because there's a lot of complaints about that, which is understandable, but it's not a job. It's a way to make extra money, but really that's about it. Having an online business is completely different because it's a business. It is something that you put a lot of time and effort into. You built it up from the ground up. You own it. You are trying to make a brand, whether that's either branding your own personality versus branding your services. And a lot of times you're going to have more than just one way to make money. It's going to be truly diverse and a service. It's not going to be just doing a little task here and there to make extra money. I think a lot of people get the concept mixed up. They think they can make money and a lot of money online without having a business. But that's not really the reality of it. You need to have a business if you're going to make money online, and you're going to need to really think about what kind of business you want to get into, because there's tons of them out there. A simple Google search could pull up tons of different ideas. Well, most of them good ideas, probably not. A couple ones. And like I said earlier, I gave you a couple ideas of what you could do. Again, that's not what this podcast is for, but to give you a better understanding that you got to realize that making money online is not the same as having a business online. If you want true success, you're going to have to get in the mindset of, okay, you're going to need to create a business, because a business is what lasts versus a get rich scheme or a site that is basically making money off the backs of its supporters or quote unquote workers when they're not really workers, because you're probably not an independent contractor, you're certainly not an employee with them, and they're basically making the bigger chunk of money while you're making pennies on a dollar. And that's just not fair, it's not right, and that's no way that anyone should have to live. It's not acceptable. So you need to understand that there's a difference. Back to the topic of get rich quick schemes, you've probably seen tons of these kind of sites. Email marketing process is one of them. EPS is their initials. You probably heard of them. There's other ones. People say, oh, you can sell web space and you can get money, a lot of money, or this and that. And again, usually it takes a lot more effort, and also a lot of times they are multi-level marketing schemes, meaning the bigger chunk of the money goes to the higher ups while the lower tiered people make a lot less money. Can people make money off of it? Sure, they can. I mean, here occasionally. Is it dependable? No. Is it right? There's no laws against it, but is it really something you want to promote? Is that what you want your brand associated with? Probably not, because most people are not going to have a kind opinion on it, especially a lot of people who have signed up, paid a lot of money into, and basically got nothing but being broke out of it. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to go out and be loud about it and knock it, so it's not really something you want to be associated with, especially if you are trying to build a business of your own. So don't let yourself get caught up or tempted, because if it usually sounds too good to be true, you can almost guarantee it will be too good to be true. That's something you need to keep in mind about a lot of these things, because you're going to see a lot of tempting offers on the internet and a lot of different companies making offers and saying, hey, you're going to make a lot of money doing this. But really, the reality of it is, if that was the case, then everybody would be doing it, right? No one would be time different services or even working for a corporation, because they'd all be doing that. So you gotta really think about the value of it, as well as what is really reliable, because a lot of it's not going to be reliable. Besides that, so yes, people can, back to the topic of making money online. Yes, people can make money online. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be tried and true? It can be. The thing is, you gotta think about is, what do you want to do? Do you want something where you think, oh, I'm going to strike it rich. I would never have to work another day in my life. If that's what you're looking for, then you're probably not going to want an online business. You probably better, to be honest, you better chance of winning the lotto, which is already pretty low. You want to build a business if you're going to have a lasting impact. And a lot of people want that. They think, oh, I'm going to build a business. I'm going to get rich, or I'm going to be famous. And while those might be acceptable reasons, or reasons to get your flow going and really start getting into the process and doing the work, that's great. If that's what motivates you to do it, fine. But will that motivation sustain you? No, because again, online business needs substance. It needs something to keep people going into it and promoting it and creating new products, because it's going to always be evolving. That's one thing you have to understand. If you're going to work online and work from home, it's going to evolve all the time. Nothing lasts the same. Nothing stays the same. In the day of an age of technology, one day something's going to be big and trendy, and the next day it isn't. For example, let's talk about Snapchat. Snapchat is pretty much dying. As you can see, not many people use it. You're hearing all the time they're having financial issues, they're having stock market issues. It's just not successful. They launched those sunglasses where you could record them. Those things might have been a great little gimmick to get people talking about them again, but it didn't last, and I think they've stopped making them, in fact. So that was a great marketing scheme, but did they have the substance to last longer than that? No, they haven't. Is it fair? No, but it is the market, free market, and that's part of it. Other services have caught on, and they adopted services that were better established and more diversified, such as Instagram or YouTube or Facebook. Which, speaking of Instagram, you may have heard Instagram has launched IGTV, which they're hoping to kind of compete with YouTube. A lot of people are a little nervous about it. YouTubers are nervous about it. Things along those lines. We'll have to wait and see. Is it going to be a tried and true success, or is it going to be the next Snapchat? A couple other things that we need to think about that have come and gone was back in the late 90s and early aughts, there was a dot-com boom. People could buy domain names, and they thought, oh, great, I can sell it for a lot of money. There were people who got rich of it, sure, there were. But how many of them really got rich, and how many of them are still rich today? Probably not very many at all, because again, it was a fad. It was new. The internet was new. It was exciting. People were talking about it. People wanted to claim a stake in it, which is great. It was a great marketing tool. But that thing failed pretty quick and hard and made a lot of people lose a lot of money. Besides Snapchat and the dot-com boom, there have been other things we've seen. MySpace was once king of social media. It was really a grandfather to a lot of the social media that we know and come to love today. But really, nobody talks about it. Tom is pretty much all alone in the world of MySpace. You're not going to really see very much people talking about or using it. It's not an active part of social media marketing. It's a shame. It's a shame because it's not as successful as it once was. And they try to reinvent it with Justin Timberlake investing money and hoping to maybe get it more into the musical side of social media. But it can't compete with things like SoundCloud. You heard more people having success off SoundCloud and YouTube than MySpace. So you need to know that you're going to have to be on your toes. You're going to have to research and keep your eye out for the next thing if you're going to have a business. Now, again, even it's true if you just want to make money online without the business, because sites go away all the time. A lot of those get paid to sites that came out about 10 years ago are non-existent, or they don't pay anyone. I've heard so many cases of people putting all their eggs in one basket. They worked so hard to build up a big referral, a line of people who they referred people to, and they have a big payment and they're pending on it, and they've never gotten paid it, and they probably never will, because again, no guarantee. But that's why people need to always look for the next big thing. So you could either look for the next big thing for another get rich quick scheme, which you may or may not even ever have success in seeing that money that they so promise you, or you could actually keep your eyes open and try to make a business where you can morph and develop and kind of navigate your way to something that's going to truly be successful. That's something that needs to be thought about more carefully. Besides talking about being able to morph and make money online, is something you think about is why do you want to make money online? Because so many people, especially the younger generation, the generation Y coming up, they all think, I want to make money online. I don't want to have to go and graduate college and get a corporate job and work in a cubicle, which can you blame them? No, I don't think many people want to work in a cubicle. I mean, there's probably a sure decent number of people who do, but is that really something most people aspire to be? No. Most people don't want to read Newsweek every single day while they take their morning business to the restroom. I mean, it's not a job that is stylized as something that people strive for. Obviously, there's plenty of people who do, and that's great. If they didn't, we wouldn't have chances to make money online like this, because a lot of this is fueled by corporations. So without corporations, this wouldn't exist. But most people don't. But then there comes the issue is they think that they can make money with basically very, very little effort, and that's not the right idea to go into it. Just because the idea of you doing it at home means it's effortless, it's a bunch of crap, to put it nicely. Because, like I was saying in the earlier podcast, you have to motivate yourself. You don't have that boss overhead and saying, hey, I want to make sure you get this done by close of business today, because that person is you. That person is going to be you to make sure that you reach that bottom line dollar that you need to make to reach your goal for the day. And, you're not really at risk of losing your job if you don't do it. So there's not a whole lot of motivation other than you pushing yourself to do it. There's no easy way to make money online. Like I was saying, even when you get paid to things, you're going to have to hustle, and probably hustle even harder than making money online through a business, because, you have to work faster because those sites might not be there tomorrow, and sometimes you can shut down with no warning. So don't let yourself get caught up in thinking this is going to last forever, because nothing does. Now, business you create yourself, yes, you can make that last a long time, possibly forever. But again, that's because you can morph it to what is new today and whatever is happening. So you need to think about your bottom line. Like, do you want to get rich fast or hope to get rich fast and not do a lot of work? Do you think it's going to be something that's going to take a lot of work? Even if you don't think it's going to take a lot of work, have you really done your diligent research to see if it's going to take a lot of work? Because the chances are it will and can. Nothing is easy. I mean, nothing's easy about owning business, coming up with ideas, concepts, marketing, work. It's a lot of work. It is. It's a work of labor or of love for most of it. And, once you reach that point where you see the actual results, Does that make it any less work? Probably not. In fact, that might actually create more work because you're going to deal with issues that you didn't anticipate. That's part the nature of the beast of working online. If you own your own business, making money online isn't the same though. So you need to go into this with the right concept and idea. Making money versus having a business. A business is to last and it's a way to continuously make money versus I'm going to go ahead and make as much money as I can before this site disappears because that's inevitable. It's always going to happen. You're never going to find a time where a site like Get Paid Sites isn't going to shut down because more people are going to sign up than they're making. Which I hate to be a downer. I know the first two episodes kind of come across as a downer, which I apologize for, but that's something about this podcast is we're not going to sugarcoat things to appease you. If you can't handle the truth, then maybe you shouldn't listen to it. But the main part is you need to go in with realistic expectations. And I see so many people go into and they don't. They think they're going to be able to make a lot of money in a short period of time and do absolutely no work. And I want to break that bubble because this is a huge misconception. It dilutes the world for people who are truly serious, who want to make money, and also makes people, they see it and they're like, well, no one's going to actually make successful money off of it or a meaningful career out of it because they're going to see all these half attempts that people make and they get bored. It's a huge issue and something that needs to be raised awareness of and talked about more because if it was, maybe people would actually think before they get into it and realize they're doing a huge disservice to the industry and to themselves, most of all, because they are wasting time they won't be able to get back and time that could have been invested in something actually worthwhile that had more meaning than $5 off clicking some ads. Or seeing companies change their rules because people are abusing the system. It isn't fair. So, if you want to make money online, you're probably thinking, okay, Sarah, what can I do? What should I do? What can I expect from this? Should I make more money? Should I go into business? I mean, I have no idea. I'm lost. Which is perfectly fine because 99.9% of people who are successful are lost at one point. You're never going to see someone say, oh, I knew exactly what to do from step 1 to step 100 and I had success because a lot of times it's going to be more failure and effort than anything else. Again, like I said, nothing worthwhile is easy. You need to remember that if you want to have a career, something to be proud of, and something that you built up and you feel like, I did this, no one believed me, no one told me I could, but I did it, then you need to know that it's going to be a lot of hard work, time, and effort, and sweat, and tears, and just stress. I mean, that's the nature of it. So you're never going to find anyone who's going to be able to say they knew exactly what to do and they were able to do. And anyone who you see advertising that saying, hey, buy this $50 ebook that tells you how to make money for working 2 hours a day or 2 hours a month, that's a red flag right there. That isn't something actually worthwhile and something that you're probably not going to actually turn a profit from because it's that person who you bought it from who's making the money and they sent you a bunch of hogwash. I mean, let's be real here. Nobody needs that. You're better off spending money and knowing that you're actually doing something that, yeah, it takes more effort, it takes more work, and there's no guarantee of getting rich, but something you can be proud of, something you can feel happy, something you can say, I did it, I believe in myself, I got here, I'm proud of this launch, I know that I can turn a profit, because that's important, and that's another thing, you need to know, you need to believe in yourself if you're going to make it in this industry. This is true for any kind of entrepreneurship, but especially true in online because there are a lot of naysayers. And people are going to say, you're never going to do it. You're never going to have success. You're going, what are you going to do if the market turns down? Which it's all good and worry. And there are probably a lot of people who might say that who have good intentions. But really, is that something that people need to hear when they're starting up? No. Is that something encouraging? Certainly no. If anything, it's going to scare people off more than actually encourage them and maybe steer them in the wrong direction of making money online by going through those Get Paid sites instead of starting a business. Is that something you really want to embrace? No, you don't. You want to make sure that people are happy and people believe in themselves and know that, if you believe in yourself, then you're giving other people a reason to believe in you. You can't sell something that you don't believe in yourself because that makes you no different than a snake oil salesperson or one of those salespeople at the kiosk in the mall trying to wave you down and sell you a $60 cream and try to compliment you and then say, oh, you need this face cream because you look like a puzzle. I mean, that's not dependable, it's not reliable. You really need to actually try, believe in yourself and know you can do it. But also know your value, know your worth, and know that even if you want to make money online, you think you can't build a business, then you better do some bigger soul searching and realize that you can. You're just going to have to find what you love and what you know, and you don't have to rely on these crappy sites that are going to give you pennies to a dollar while they're getting probably more than 90% of that money of advertisements that are getting sold. Know your value, know your worth, go into it knowing that you can do it, but you don't need people to tell you, hey, you can't do this, you're going to make only pennies on a dollar, which is basically what I was saying from the get-go. But again, that's the difference between making money online versus making a career online. So if you're going into this and thinking you want to make money, decide, do you really want to make money, or do you want to make a career, a long time lasting, lifetime lasting, possibly career? Those are decisions you got to make early on in the game, because if you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you want to do with your life, no one else is going to be able to tell you or help you with it. You have to figure that out. Another question you might often wonder is, how do people get ideas for what to do to make money online? What can they do possibly to make money online? Which is all good questions. As I mentioned earlier, I gave you a couple of examples, but a few things you might want to keep in mind is, what is something that you like? Chances are, if it's something you're interested in and you like, there's probably going to be a market for it. I mean, look at that one example product, which, look at the Squatty Putty as an example. That is a perfect example of something that probably no one ever pictured ever being sold on the market. I mean, really, if you think about it, that is at best a gimmicky product, but there's obviously a market for it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be around today selling it and having an ad with a unicorn literally using the bathroom. Think about that. Use that as inspiration. I mean, is it a fine example of a good product and a good company? Probably not. And yeah, it's true. Probably the owner and whoever created it, they didn't spend a whole life thinking, you know what I like? I like using the bathroom. I mean, let's be honest here. No one's going to say that, but for whatever reason, they got the inspiration and they found a market and they did their research and they found a way to get it. And they have a cute mascot advertising for them, the unicorn. So you really need to think about these kind of things. I mean, it's a perfect example of a product out there that probably no one ever envisioned would exist, yet exists and has a market for it. So don't think just because maybe you like something that no one else is going to like it, or there's going to be no one else in the world who's going to find a use for it, because that isn't a good enough excuse. To get into a business. Even if you don't want to get into the existence of a product, you could do a service. You could do any of those kinds of things. I mean, the list of possibilities of working online are countless to create a business. Just as long as you can do the research, find your people you're going to market to, and know what value you're giving them, because otherwise you're going to really have no chance of success unless you have those couple things marked off your list. So you need to remember to keep these things in mind as you get into this and do your research. Now again, if you're just looking for a couple dollars here and there, or a hobby, or a way to make a little bit of side money, you don't need to worry about that. You can use it to get paid to sites, but you might also really want to consider, do you want something where you're going to literally have to hop from site to site to site for the next year to even make a profit, or are you going to actually want something where you can build to last? It's kind of like furniture options. You want cheap press board? Yeah, it's quick and cheap, but is that really what you want, or do you want to invest a little bit more and get something solid, a solid hardwood piece of furniture? It's no different. The choice is yours, but you need to know, what is it that you want to do? Do you really want something that's going to last, that's going to make you happy, you're going to be proud, you feel like you can possibly train other people on, or just a get rich quick scheme and a quick fix where you can forget about it and maybe tell people in a few years later, oh yeah, I was a member of that club, or I sold that product, and be ashamed that you were even involved in such a small term idea. I don't think many people want that. I think most people want something to be excited about, something to last, because I know that's certainly how I felt, which is part of the reason why I went into the industry that I did, because I knew I didn't want to depend or try to depend on something that wasn't dependable. And that's something you need to think about. Do you want dependability, or do you just want a quick fix? It's something that's really worthwhile, and again, not enough people talk about it, and a lot of people are going to tell you, oh, you can make a lot of money, but they won't tell you, oh, this won't last very long. You really need to think and invest and put the effort and really tie it all together and see what is it you want to be. I mean, the choice is ultimately yours 100%, but making money online and having a business are two different things, and it's something that needs to be kept in your opinion, because neither are the same. And I'm quite frankly sick of seeing people try and say it's the same when it's not, because a business is not the same thing as a hobby that might last today to tomorrow and not be around next week. Versus a business, if you really love and you're really going to work on it and you have determination to reach your goals, you're going to work on it. So, with those last words of advice, we're going to head and wrap this episode up. Please let us know if you have any questions or ideas or something you want to see me talk about next. You can tweet me on Twitter. My screen name is MVR00. You can also check out our website, the tebpodcast.blogspot.com, where you can also comment, see links to all the episodes, as well as free resources being created. It is kind of under construction at the moment. I'm hoping to build up more, but always welcome to hear your ideas. And go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Episodes come out once every week. And hopefully we can talk more soon about what you can do with your life and what you want to do. Until next time, I'll see you later. If you heard the first episode,